Diane, okay.
What?
I am muted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Get no way. I got my last one.
Starts from.
It came on the back.
Enjoy. Practicing for 2026.
What, Iowa or what?
Well, get some maybes over there. Get this piss ball off.
Actually gave him.
Hey, Diane, did anybody join us remote or anything or?
Yes, we have Josie and Molly Rock.
Wait, no, you're notary. You're notary.
One paper, I was like, well, if the commission's showing up.
They have-
About something. I think, is it the?
We'll get it done.
Samantha, you ready? Samantha.
We did it to you.
Oh, no, you got it. I got it.
I have not.
All right, let's go ahead and get started this evening. We'll call to order the City of Centerton Board of Zoning Adjustments, January 16th, 2024 with a roll call.
Brenda Swoboda, Tony Davis, Ben Lewis, Don Sessoms, Gary Harris, Chris Langford, Devin Murphy, Jody Engel, Jeff Safer.
Here. All right, first thing on the agenda this evening is variance 2305, building setback at 530 Gala Circle. It is zoned R2. They want to reduce the rear setback from 20 feet to 14 feet. The applicant here to give us an overview, or the contractor, anybody?
Yeah.
I want to give us an overview of what y'all are requesting.
My name's Buzz Sawyer. I'm owns the construction company that is applying variance for the wing. First of all, I've been in the construction business for about 30 years. And I've had to get a lot of variances over the years, but I have never been treated as well as y'all have treated us and helped us through this process. It's a long, drawn out process. And we knew that was going to happen when we started, but thank you all so much for the help. What we have a 20-foot setback. You can see on the back side of the house there. And our room is basically, the walls are 12 feet, but 6 foot of it is underneath existing patio. Then we want out another 6. Is that correct? Okay, the roof will be sticking out 6 feet. Where that white part is, that's going to project 6 feet past that overhang. And that gets us to 14 feet when we look at that back, it's 20. So if we could get that back to 14, that would help us rebuild.
All right. Diane, do you want to give us a staff overview?
Yes, it's in the Orchard Park subdivision. As Bud stated, that it is lot 49. Now with the Orchard Park subdivision, it is zoned R2. But there were 2 variances that were approved by the Planning Commission for the subdivision. One of them was variance 1802, and that was up to a 10-foot lot reduction width, so it'd be 70 feet. And then also there's already an existing variance, was variance 1805 for 5-foot rear yard reduction to 20 feet. So it's already 5 feet less than what would typically be in the R2. As I stated, the sunroom would be attached to the rear of the house and extend the roof line by 6 feet from where it currently is. Or, yeah, because right now it's still a little bit of an open porch that they're wanting to cover. And the home was built essentially to the full extent of the setbacks to the front and the rear. The sides are still plenty of room, especially on the east side. But it's pretty much the entire buildable area to the north and south. I think you did already do a variance for that subdivision previously back in 2018. And then I don't know if you guys want me to go over each of the exceptional circumstances or if you guys want to go over that yourselves.
We'll just go through them.
Okay. I'd like to give you guys the option.
Can you scroll down to the map for me? Because I can't see it on mine, where lot 49 is. I can't see it on the printout. Go for 46. Right here. 52, 51, right here.
I think so.
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you.
And no comments were received from the public. And they did meet the, public notice requirements.
There's no easement.
What was that?
No easement.
Are there any questions of any of the commissioners about the request? If not, then let's go ahead and open it up to the public, and then we'll go through the circumstances if you're.
Joey, I'll make a motion to, hold on, to open the public hearing for variance 2305. Second.
Motion is second. Is there anyone opposed? All right, if anybody has any questions, comments in regards to the variance request, we would ask that you come forward, state any questions or comments. Second call for anyone who wishes to speak.
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for variance 2305. Second.
Motion is second. Is anyone opposed? All right, let's go ahead and go through the questions. These are the findings and facts. To go through each one of these, to establish the basis for granting or denying the approval of the requested variance from the Centerton zoning code of section 14.04.04 C. The first one, the preservation of intent, that the variance if granted is consistent with the purpose and intent of the regulations for the district in which the development is located. No variance shall have the effect of permitting a use in any district that is not a stated permitted use, accessory use, or conditional use of that particular district. The applicant's response is that they propose to build a 12 by 22 sunroom using an existing inset to take advantage of the already available square footage of the home. To make an additional heated space within the home, this will require us to build out the roof line over an inset an additional 6 feet. As it stands, the inset space in question is not used. If the variance is granted, the homeowner will use the space for entertainment. The intended usage of the space falls within the intended purposes of the subdivision. Staff findings, the variance request for a 6-foot reduction of the rear setback does not create a use that is not permitted in the R2 zoning district. The property will remain a single-family residential. Anybody disagree with the purpose of or the preservation of intent? Any questions or comments? The second one, exceptional circumstances, the exceptional, extraordinary, or unusual conditions or circumstances applying to the lot, parcel, structure, or intended use exist that do not apply to other properties or uses in the same district, which are unique to the individual property under consideration. The applicant's response, the rear of 530 Gaylor Circle has a 20-foot rear setback. Measuring from the rear setback line to the existing rear inset roof line is 20 feet. There is no space to build out with the existing conditions. We request that the rear setback be adjusted from 20 feet to 14 feet in order to take advantage of the available space. The staff findings, the property does not have exceptional, extraordinary, or unusual conditions. Lot 49 has the same conditions and lot area as the other lots located in Orchard Park. The homeowner has the same use of property as the other property owners in the subdivision. The variance 1805 already gives all property owners in Orchard Park an additional 5 feet of buildable area other than the R2 zone subdivisions. Does anybody disagree that there are no exceptional circumstances? Hardship, not grounds for variance, that the applicant, that the special condition and or circumstances do not result from the intended or proposed actions of the applicant. No variance may be granted solely on the basis of economic gain or loss. The applicant's response, the rear setback is preventing the homeowner from making good use of the space that is available. The intended project will increase the usability of the space and the value of the property. The intended project will not impose on neighbors in any way. The staff findings, there's no hardship found to exist. The proposed sunroom addition would be a self-imposed circumstance requiring a variance of the rear setback. Agreed. Does anybody disagree with that, that there's not necessarily a hardship that's been presented? Preservation of property rights, that literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of substantial rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance. The applicant's response granting a variance of the rear setback will allow the homeowners the ability to use the property within intent of the subdivision. The staff findings, the R2 zoning setbacks do not deprive the applicant of property rights allowed for other property owners. Does anybody disagree with the staff findings on this one? And the last one is the absence of detriment, that granting the variance requested will not create substantial detriment to adjacent property, or that will materially impair or be contrary to the purpose and spirit of this chapter or the public interest. The applicant's response granting a rear setback variance will not encroach on the adjacent property owner's property lines or lines of sight. What we propose will be appealing to the eye, make better use of the space for the homeowner, and increase the property value. The staff findings, if the variance is approved, adjacent property owners would be affected in that they would have more building and less open space around them. Granting of this variance could set a precedent for others in the subdivision or request a setback reduction. Does anybody disagree with this one? Okay. Any further discussion or comments in regards to the variance request before we take a vote?
I mean, thank you for noting the existing variance already on file for the whole subdivision, so it's already 5 feet less than typical.
Any other questions or comments?
What is the sunroom? Is it?
Can you go to the diagram? Yeah. Sorry.
Is it almost like a kit type sunroom or?
No, it is a powder coated extruded aluminum thermally broken. It's mostly glass. Then it has an insulated roof system. It has, I mean, it's custom built. It's not a kit like the old days. Yeah, we actually build it on site.
I don't know how the east side, if that's east, yeah, that's east. I don't know how the east side of the house lays out, but it looks like there's plenty of room over there to do something.
You know, we looked at that, but it doesn't, not a good place to tie in and get in and out of for him as far as where the living room is at.
What do you want to look at? The access to the, so it's over, right here, it's over this part, right? Yeah.
That's what's proposed.
You were asking about the side though,
The
right?
east side, yeah, we don't have a picture of that.
On the east side, it looks like it's 20 feet from the property lines that they've got.
We have a picture of one that's similar to that. You want to see it? What the finished product looks like.
Basically, like, another reason we put it out there, they already have 7 foot of underneath the roof line. You know, when we're here, we'd have to build a lot bigger room to get that same square footage.
What kind of roof does it have on?
Insulated, an insulated roof. It's got expanded polystyrene between 2 aluminum skins.
So you're not gonna have to alter the
No,
The house.
one straight to the fascia. I can show you one if you want to look at it real quick.
So is it really just a roof line that's interfering with the?
No, it'll be the whole.
I'm just saying, I mean,
Yes, if it was just the roof line.
But it's not.
It's not, it's the whole structure. I just,
Yeah, the back of the house right there is, I think is right at the 20 foot.
I mean, unfortunately, just going by our standard questions that we ask on everyone, there's no exceptional circumstance and there's no hardship. And it's all, you know, self-imposed. Personally, I have a hard time granting that.
What is on that east side? Is there a bedroom? Are there any doors, windows, other?
You got one, twin window right there that goes into, I think it's like the your dining slash. Dining table was right there.
Adding on to where that is, gives them some bonus space that's already there. What is it, you say, 7 feet?
It's
They're already 120 feet into there. 140 square feet that they will actually get as bonus space by adding on right there.
But if you went to the west just a little bit where there's actually an inset, that was called an inset.
Well, you'd only be
Way
able
to the west, that's an inset. You know, on the back there. Now go to the,
yeah, if we
Other
went
west.
there, we'd only be able to go out as far
No.
as the existing roof is.
your other, okay. Yeah, but I mean,
It's only like
Yeah, right there.
4 feet. And there's no undercover at that point.
no. Again. I don't see any exceptional circumstance or hardship, so I have a hard time.
I feel the same way. I mean,
And it's already 5 feet shorter than normal. Unfortunately.
That was my concern, that it's 5 feet shorter than normal, plus the rear property next to that's also 5 feet shorter than normal, which makes it 10 feet closer to the home beside you, behind you, than it would normally be. There was no input from the public or the surrounding neighbors, right? Notices went to.
Afraid of what kind of doors that opens, moving down the road.
That neighbor may not be there next year, for all we know.
That or the neighbor next
The
door.
new neighbor says, what are you doing in my backyard? Yeah.
The big existing patios there already. Falling out on just a little bitty bed.
It totally makes sense why you're doing it, where you're doing it. Just happens to be in the setback.
Any other questions or comments? Anything else from staff? Nothing else from staff?
Just don't open, I can't.
Alright.
Yep, so if there's nothing else, then I would entertain a motion for variance 2305 for the building setback at 530 Gala Circle.
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve variance 2305, building setback at 530 Gala Circle.
Jerry, I said.
Motion and a second for the, you said approval, right? Yes. For the requests. Samantha, if you'll do a roll call vote, for me, please.
Brandon Kubota,
No.
Tony Davis, Ben Lewis, Don Sessoms.
No.
Jerry Harris,
No.
Craig Langford,
No.
Devin Murphy, Joey Engel, Jeff Safer.
No. And again, the biggest reason is the no presentation of a hardship, because I know that you guys need that that was presented this evening. Thank you, guys. I will, under announcements, we'll do our next meeting will be determined. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the BZA.
It's Tony motion to adjourn the board of adjustment.
John, second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, now I will call to order the City of Centerton Planning Commission for January 16th, 2024 with a roll call.
Brandon Swoboda,
Here.
Tony Davis,
Here.
Ben Lewis, Don Sessoms,
Here.
Jerry Harris,
Here.
Craig Langford,
Here.
Devin Murphy,
Here.
Joey Engel, Jeff Safer.
Here. All right, first thing on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from our meeting of 12/19.
John, a motion to approve the minutes from 12/19/23.
Joey, a second.
Motion and a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, next is the ratification of the admin approvals. Looks like there's four. 3 home occupancy and a track split. Are there any questions or comments from any of the commissioners on any of the admin approvals? Anything we need to know from staff?
Next, but they're not donating or dedicating any right of way at this time, so
It was just a adjustment.
just a property line adjustment. They were shrinking one lot and increasing the size of the other one. There we go.
Maybe that's a conversation for a different day, but I'm curious on why we don't do that.
'Cause right now, it's still only approved for a single family residential construction or agricultural use. It's not being
considered
developed.
Subdivided.
Yeah.
So,
Different day.
we can talk about that.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions or comments, then I would entertain a motion to approve the ratification of the admin approvals.
John, a motion to approve the ratification of administrative approval is listed. Second.
Motion is second. Is anyone opposed? All right, next on the agenda under new business is watercolor apartment carports, the additional carports at 1709 East Centerton Boulevard. It is zoned R4 multifamily. 10.98 acres. And Bill is here to explain how he's asking for forgiveness.
We were brought in after this all happened, so we were told that they really should have gone through the process, and if we'd have been involved, we'd have asked them. So there's some carports built, I think it's 3 of them, is that right? I can't remember how many.
No, there are,
We have to talk.
5?
We can't hear over here.
5. So anyway, got your number. Okay.
I think it's 5. The
Several carports put in. Shown them on a site plan so that they can see where they land with utilities and all that. Looking for your approval on that after.
These are already constructed.
They are. Sure.
Were they just not, and I'm just catching up, were they not on the plans?
They're not.
Just random carport showed up?
Best I understand, they just thought it was a need, and so they're out of town owners that bought the facility and hey, it'd be a great addition for the tenants there. They should have done.
They built over the easements.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yes, Jerry. Carroll Electric seems to
Carroll
think so.
Electric,
Yeah.
just got that email, Bill, if they hadn't contacted you. Fair Electric said that our boards are within their utility easement. They can't have any structures in the easement. And you could either move the carports or pay for them to move their electric.
You want us to table this until you figure that out, or?
What would you consider, an approval contingent on that line being moved? Is that at all possible? I mean, I'm fine to table it if that's what y'all prefer, but I mean,
I mean, we can, do you really think they're gonna move
I just moved the line. It's not cheap. Cheaper to move to a carport. But you may want to look at that, yeah.
that's fine. Let us talk to them and be happy to.
But I didn't get that email until like 4:26 this afternoon, so.
Question about this, so I just make sure I understand too. So these were not on the plans, these were not approved. The owners of the property built them, installed them. And now we're going to back approve that, that's what we're being asked to do?
Yeah. Yes.
Are there any fines or is there any like, for doing this?
Code enforcement could go out there.
Phil's paying the ultimate sacrifice tonight, having to be.
No, I'm not looking at you,
He's the lamb. I mean,
like,
We definitely wouldn't have asked them to do this without.
Sure.
I mean, it's significant, if you I mean, it's significant too, if you look at what they actually, 'cause I think they did it right, they just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
construction is solid. They look nice, but they're in the way.
Looks like it's over a water,
They're-
FDC line. It's private. It's in the sanitary.
yeah, why don't you
Let me check
figure out exactly what you guys want to ask for? And then come back.
Thanks, guys.
I would entertain a motion to table the request by Watercolors for the addition of their carports.
So move.
Learning.
Second. Motion in a second.
Turn me off.
Is anyone opposed?
Next to Devin.
When do you guys want to table it?
How long is?
Well, Phil,
How long do you need?
Everyone's come back.
I think it's up to Phil to request to come back. He was gonna talk to the client, see if they wanna move all these utilities, cause I think it's more than just the.
Elevator, water and sewer and all that.
Yeah, we'll confirm that.
Brandon, so there's new owners. That I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. So, but you can see they dug big holes.
Oh, yeah, big time.
We're,
Anchored.
Didn't hit anything, how's that?
They got lucky. They didn't.
Hey, for Phil's sake, I don't see any comments, but did Malcolm have any?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything back from water and sewer at all.
Really? Okay.
I'll reach out though.
Might just check with all of them, just so I have to table it 4 or 5 times. We
We
need,
did work with building inspection just about the stability of the posts, and so we've resolved that part, but I'll check with all utilities. Yeah, I thought we would have heard something.
That's kinda odd. I'm
Thanks.
sure, I can guess what he's gonna say, but
You know what you would say?
I know what I would say.
That water's what, 36 inches?
thanks, Phil.
Yeah, 3 or 4 feet.
It's probably 42 inches.
About the same.
Yeah. They're lucky. I'm like, that was looking at the deal. Like,
They didn't-
yeah, like you might be not deep enough to that hole, but just barely above it.
That's us.
6 feet.
They didn't. Hey, did they do a 1 call?
Obviously not.
There's no markings or anything.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Next on the agenda is subdivision 2118 Paradise Park subdivision. Final plat and plans. It is a Cutbirth Lane at Gamble Road. It is zoned R3, single family, 9.64 acres, 40 dwelling homes. The applicant or engineer here, just give us a quick overview or?
Molly, you've been unmute, you just unmute yourself and you're ready to go.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So yes, I'm Molly Robb with Odyssey Engineering. So yeah, this is just the final plat for the Paradise Park subdivision. Like you said, I think we've coordinated with staff on pretty much all of the comments at this point, so it's pretty straightforward. Really, I'm here for any questions you all might have, so.
Thanks, Molly. Eric, do you want to give us a staff overview?
It's located on Wallace Corner. It's just on the southwest of the block that also sunrise, southeast of the same block, the Sunrise Ridges, kind of. It's just so yeah, Sunrise Ridge is just north and west. of it. So, grading when it's site, significant range coming off the parcel as the adjacent streets. 1.1, 1.61 of the area. Sunrise Ridge subdivision moved onto the site. They regraded the existing contours to direct the flow of the detention pond at the southeast corner of the parcel. Which includes an outlet that goes out to the southeast. Gamble and Cupper both have a 10-foot sidewalk on their right of way. There are street trees planted, one per 60 feet going from along Cupworth and Gamble. There's a gap. There's a gap leading up to the intersection of street trees on the detention pond that was approved with the area plat. Then so Gamble was rededicated to a full 40 feet, half street out of the street, since Gamble is a collector, which is 80 feet. Previously dedicated, that's a season. And rededicated with 40 feet. Cupworth Lane, 25 feet of right of way was dedicated on the north side of Cupworth per additional right of way, like 15 feet is being dedicated to meet the 40-foot requirement on the master street plan. Since Cupworth is a minor collector. The site inspection was held on October. All inspections were staff except for the curb placement on Gamble Road, which due to cold weather is being postponed to a later date. Warranty bonds have been approved. So for streets, 50% for 2 years, 170,000. Drainage, 50% for 2 years is 192,875. Water and sewer, 50%. 50% for 1 year is 223,309. Then improvements for each street, Gamble Road is widening the asphalt to 8 feet. With the 10-foot trail, curb and gutter, storm pipe, street lights and street trees. Cupworth Lane will have 8-foot road widening. Total width of 25 feet back and forth to edge of asphalt. 10-foot trail, curb and gutter, storm pipe, street lights and street trees. A turn lane will be constructed at the Cupworth and Gamble intersection on Cupworth Lane. That has actually been approved. Labeling corrections have been addressed, as well as on the record draft. Minutes have been approved by staff and city attorney. There was we're under the process of a well abatement. Has been completed, which actually has been completed on the 9th of January of this month. Addressing plan by the fire chief. Right. We're currently waiting on compaction tests for lots, the issued bonds, CAD files, signed covenants. And then there's also street signs that are placed for the updated street names that were approved by the chief, with additional street signs needing to be installed around the 20-foot corners. Subdivision.
Any questions, comments, concerns from any of the commissioners?
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve subdivision 2118 Paradise Park, with the outstanding items that are to be completed. Craig, I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve. Is there anyone opposed? Thanks, Molly.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
All right, next on the agenda is subdivision 2312, the Warren subdivision, preliminary plat and plans, 8256 Warren Road. It is in the county, 29.01 acres, 25 single-family dwellings. Paul Pink Construction is the owner. Jason, are you tonight?
Jason Ingles with Expedient Civil Engineering, trying to plat 25 1-acre lot. Septic. Water approved by City of Pikeville. It's their. For approval tonight.
Diane?
Yes, and I did provide you guys, we did receive an email from an adjacent property owner about concerns with the detention pond. Again, I got it right before I came in here, so I'll forward that to you. Okay, you got it too. Okay, awesome. So I do have it, I did print it out and it's in y'all's packet up there. So just wanted to give you a heads up. As Jason stated, it is a 25 lot, single family subdivision at 8256 Warren Road. This is in Benton County, so there's not any zoning, but it is within our planning area. It's on the east side of Warren Road and north of Goodlet. Winbrook subdivision, it's kind of the closest subdivision out there, and it is also a county subdivision, and it's located on the east side of Caulfield Cemetery Road. And then there's also Begin Estates minor subdivision that's north of there on Motley Road. So other than that, it's all pretty much just large lot property. And as Jason mentioned, it is serviced by Highfield Water. They have approved the layout and everything that they provided. No sanitary sewer service is available, and all the lots do meet the 1 acre minimum to comply with 88 requirements. And they also have provided perk tests and possible locations for the septic for each of those lots. It's a density of 1.16 units per acre. And the setbacks, we use the Centerton, A1, which from the front would be 35 feet, side 15 feet, side exterior be 35 feet, and rear 25 feet, which these mean because they're all large lots. There is no flood zones on this property. They have submitted a wetlands assessment, and there did seem to be wetlands areas, but they are not jurisdictional or required for any abatement or anything under the 404. There is one dry detention pond located on the northeast side of those subdivisions between lots 8 and 9. That's on the north side of Street 1. The detention pond will outlet to the north of the subdivision. Alan did approve the drainage report, but I know he did also talk to the property owner this afternoon. So Alan, you want to address that when I'm done with this? The streets are private. They are 50-foot access and utility easement, an additional 20-foot utility easement on the front of the lots, and 26.5 feet of pavement. Street lights are shown, no curb and gutter, no sidewalk. They do have fire hydrants within this subdivision. The adjacent street agreement, they are not completing any additional street improvements for either of the county roads, but they are dedicating 25 feet of right of way for Warren Road, which is a local street, a total of 50 feet total right of way, and Goodlet is on our master street plan, a major collector of 80 feet of right of way, and they are dedicating 40 feet of right of way with this final plat. The subdivision has access from both Warren and Goodlet roads, and they are providing a stub out to the east, because it's all turned sideways on there, to the east, so that way there is future connection whenever the property over there does develop in the future. No landscaping or street trees are proposed with this subdivision. There's just some minor comments left outstanding by staff pertaining to and class, clarifications of things, nothing major. And the email we received was from Anita. I'm not gonna try to butcher their last name, so. But it is Anita, and they are the adjacent property owner to the north, where the subdivision kind of makes the little L. They're directly to the north there. They do have a farm that they operate. Of course, their home is there also. I guess there's already kind of water issues in the area. And they are concerned that the location of the detention ponds will exacerbate issues that are already currently there. And they did state that they have talked to the developer or agent for the developer, and they're supposed to be working with this property owner, and I don't feel like they've had the correct dialogue with the people doing the development. That's it in a nutshell, but you guys do have her entire email.
Yeah, I saw the email,
Well,
but
I
it,
spoke with her today and her property, she owns the long one.
That's what I was about to
Little
say.
outlet. And then also the two that are on the corner of, I believe that's Warren and it says Byers. Those first two in that southeast corner of that. All the water from this site goes through the north. There's an existing farm pond that drains and kind of leaks doesn't really hold, or it goes through that berm. Goes through their property, across Byers, on the west side of Cofelt Cemetery, crosses Cofelt Cemetery, and then goes north and then goes back across Cofelt again. They said that the county raised part of Cofelt Cemetery and it has a lot of water and there's issues on Cofelt itself. That's a county road. But their big concern is that where that pond outlets north, the flow of water for the main section of this property goes between their home and their garage barn. And as it is now, it gets wide enough to where it's real close to getting water into both of those. Based on the analysis from the engineer, they say they're gonna decrease that flow of water. So I called Jason today, told him I would wanna approve this, having them go back and look at this, see what they can't do to enlarge that pond a little bit to help them out. Double check everything and then possibly work with the neighbor if they're going to do any work beyond that to help protect that. I said it's fine to do that.
I don't have a grading plan. How does it discharge? Is it just piped out? Is there a?
An outlet weir in the embankment. The part of it, it's going a little bit to the side, changing where it's at, so they're gonna be moving that to where it's currently going now, but there's no real control on this existing pond. It just overtops and goes. And then there's another section on the northeast of that northern leg that discharges into a ditch, and that'll continue to do so.
We just learned of this afternoon when Alan called me before the meeting. My firm has been in situations like this before. Matter of fact, I think Edwin Estates was one of them that we made some corrections and we've not had a complaint from that downstream property owner. We made some. I think I kind of appreciate it. Landowners do give us a heads up, keep us from getting in hot water. So we'll do our best to work with Alan. And if you can approve it contingent tonight, Contingent upon Alan and I coming with a deal agreement on the small changes. I don't think there's gonna be anything major. We're gonna increase the surface area. We're gonna try to, the smaller storms, we may restrict the lower outlets, and allow the larger storms over top, and get those smaller storms captured before it becomes an issue that probably aren't doing.
All the pre-post works, right? So theoretically, I think you even said you're decreasing it, so.
And that's likely like that it certainly does get worse. We have the report where he says, yeah, everything's looking better. And that's where knowing their concerns, knowing there's a problem, if he over designs, gives a bit more protection.
So question, how are we gonna make that bigger without changing? Are we gonna have to ask for some sort of variance, or are we gonna be able to?
Look at the lots next to the pond.
They're actually larger than an acre.
Yeah, you're just gonna adjust the lot.
Taking property from those two to size that pond would be easiest, quickest route of doing so by decreasing those. I'm not sure what the exact size is.
Yeah, it's like 1.16 and 1.8. So you got
You're
right.
getting over a third of an acre extra on a lot that is less than an acre now. So you can get substantial growth in that pond.
But on those two lots, if you do that, does that affect the septic design and the backup plan for?
1 acre minimum is a requirement per the county and the Department of Health. We have dug pits out there. Those two lots were not a concern. There were a couple that we're working on right now. But, those were not a concern to the Department of Health.
You get the individual designs for each lot when you start constructing the house, so they don't have the issue.
I just didn't know if that would affect it.
Yeah, good, for sure. Okay, awesome. I have just a curious question. Why no wells and running city water? That seems. Uh-huh.
There's water available. There's a 6-inch. I don't get it.
Yeah.
To get fire protection too, we're
Yeah.
putting fire hydrants in the 6-inch main.
Gotcha.
I think we did a similar plat called Winbrook, east of here, just years ago. And it didn't have a 6-inch, so we ended up with no fire hydrants on that one. 3-inch line, I think. So this one's actually a better situation for everybody. A better IFC rate, insurance for sure.
No landscaping, no trees.
There what now?
I thought there's no landscaping, no trees.
Well, it is in the county.
Still no jurisdiction. though.
They're still within your jurisdiction. You guys have the right to.
Here's some trees.
I mean,
I thought we did put some trees in on Goodlet.
No, you just show trees that are being preserved. They're on there.
It says approved hardwoods per Centerton on the south.
I was just going off the notes that were read that said no landscaping, no trees.
Yeah, there's 9 of them.
Down some, was it on Goodlet?
Yep.
We showed them on Goodlet. So we actually did try to incorporate a little bit.
And my apologies for flat out missing your trees.
Are there any other questions before there's someone from the audience that wishes to speak?
The other thing I like to add is she said it was 1.16 units per acre, 0.86 units per acre. They're all 1 acre lots, so can't be over 1.
Anytime y'all do math, I never question it because it always gets challenged, so
Sorry.
Math is not my wife's strong suit.
I heard say 1 and I was confused. 1 acre lots, you can't have more than 1 acre or 1 unit per acre. But that was all just 0.86, so it's even lower, but well below what you need.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna let them address us if you do that. Get your name and your address for us, please.
141 Parkland Cemetery Road. Resident of that. We're very sorry that we brought up this at the last minute. Fortunately, we thought we had a gentleman's agreement, or at least gentleman and a lady, that the developer, the agent would consult with us. Accidentally, we found out that is not the case, that this has come to the stated our position in the email. At this point, we think it's a potential threat to farm. We go with base. Currently have about 150 head of goats. And I know people make fun of goats. There aren't that many, but to compare to cattle, the United States, there are 2 million goats. There's 92 or 93 million goats. So if you want to give in terms of size, it equates to about 6,000 head of cattle. So we're not a small farm. So please don't write us off as all these people with two goats. The name, Brandon, I don't know whether you're related to Jason Swoboda or not. No, he used to be the neighbor diagonally across. So I thought maybe, but if you don't mind, I would like to have my wife show you pictures of what devastation already is happening. With the improvement, with the building, the grass is going to be replaced by structures, concrete, asphalt. We suspect, again, we're not engineers, and again, we said we would love to get an opportunity to get a good referral from a real estate attorney who would represent us well. I understand at this point that we're at the mercy of an engineering firm, and we have to go with their assessment that what they're providing is accurate. So my question to the department, whoever is the right, what is the liability limit for the engineering firm which is proposing that the pond they design will not flood my house, flood my front yard, make a cesspool of fecal matter?
I think that's up to their insurance that they carry. Sure, there's a minimum, but it's also part of their licensure that they protect the health, safety and welfare.
Thank you, sir. Because what we don't know, we feel like those who know Lord of the Rings, we're dealing with this faceless monster, Sauron. We don't know who to tell because I asked us, we like I mentioned in the email, we provided the survey access to our property. We said, yep, whatever you need to do, we want to work with this. And on his way, he came through this dip. If you don't mind, if you could show the structure now, just want to get you a visual of what the real problem is there. And in the meantime, my wife, we dug out our own old phone and she'll walk you through, show you how much water comes there, what kind of devastation happens. But if I may, can I walk up there? Yeah. So this is the pond. There is a creek of sorts, dry creek that runs through between the barn and here into, would you be able to show them the pictures of? Yeah, if you don't mind, scroll down, please. Yeah.
Got a lag to it.
You will show them pictures. So, she'll show you pictures. This is the pond up here, please. It's our house. And she'll show you a picture of a pond, of a fence that is completely down because of the flow of water. Okay, she walks by. Now, if we go further north, please. Maybe stop here again, since we are on this.
It has a lag.
The lag.
There's a lag.
Okay.
So I have a question. Has this always occurred?
This is, has been a problem, in the past. We always get the 1 in 5 year, rain. And the problem is compounded by the fact that this lot drains this side. It drains into, I don't know whether Philip and Larry are watching, into this lot. We own these 2 lots. And there's 1 acre of pond is what we get. And so ultimately, I think our question here is that, is this a dispute between us? Obviously, we are claiming to be the injured party, and the developer or the engineering firm?
So part of the reason we asked a few questions is that as it exists today, whatever is decided upon,
That's where the water is.
and discharged can't be any greater than what it is today.
Not.
That's the basic foundation. And that's decided between what Jason and his firm presents and our engineer agreeing that what is presented is a fact.
Thanks from being.
If they do things correctly, which is the reason that we asked,
Hold on one second. I need to be able to hear what he's saying. Just real quick.
the reason we ask, can the pond be sized differently is because in theory, if they might be able to actually help some of the runoff if they actually retain it on the property and not disperse it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in theory, it could be better.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And one thing I want to add is
Yeah.
this is, as it's designed now, it works per the code. They're not increasing the runoff. What they're proposing to do is actually above and beyond what they have to do. They're trying to help the situation out from what I gathered from Alan and Jason. But it's, you asked if it was between you and the developer or the engineer. Technically, it doesn't sound like they created this problem, right?
Yes, but there's a potential for compounding the problems. Today, so far, the water has come only 6 feet from our house. Okay. If it comes any further, obviously, is it between our insurance company now and the engineering firm? Because that is the delta between what it was peak, because we've had this home since 2005. Yeah, this wasn't our primary home, but we moved here. I've lived in this, unlike the gentleman who said he's been doing it for 30 years. I've lived in this county for almost 30 years, since 95. It's the first time I'm coming over in front of anybody, any problem we've had. One time somebody did, the road department knock off a T-post, but she went and talked to them, they said, oh, it won't happen again. We're good. So we're good residents. We know, unfortunately, Mr. Gray couldn't come in for support too. We've been good neighbors, but this has been just a scenario where the agent or the builder has completely ignored our, they talked to somebody who claimed to be the representative, and we had this understanding that we would explain all these things, show them these pictures. And interestingly, the size $7 sign. My understanding is the city charges $7 for a sign for public notice. We don't have a picture, but it's kept at a very inconspicuous place. It is almost like somebody is begging us not to notice it. Is this the kind of people you want to deal with? I mean, that's a question I have.
Well, and, you know, not to anybody's defense, but just stating the facts here. They didn't create that problem. They've met all of the requirements of the plan review, the code. Meeting with you and discussing that is above and beyond what they're required to do. Now, should that be expected? I would think so. But I don't know who you want to focus your efforts with. Because the engineer can't do anything without the developer telling him to. And so I don't know, maybe it's coordination with Alan, but until they get that revised design, I don't know that there's anything to discuss.
Yes, that's our dilemma. That do we wait for inevitable to happen and then approach a attorney? And that's why Marlene, if anybody in the audience or have a referral to a good real estate attorneys, we are looking. We've never had to do this.
I have a couple questions real quick. So the pond that we're being shown is on your property.
It's on their property.
So it's on the property that's being developed.
We're talking about a pond that's not there yet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I assume the detention pond is not present there, but the pond that is actually there that we're looking at is on their property.
No, it's.
Their property?
That's where the, no, that's not our pond.
That's not their property.
Our property has a little pond, right?
Whose pond is that?
That's where they plan to develop the retention pond.
So it exists today.
That's an existing pond that'll be expanded.
That's the pond that's going to be expanded.
to greater
And
extension.
that's the pond that's currently overflowing onto your property.
Yes.
And so they're proposing, and we're asking for them to make that pond even bigger
Yes.
to retain the water.
So it already retains, I mean, my question earlier in the morning was, what happens, I mean, it's already holding that much water.
Uh-huh.
Where is the space for
Would-
the excess water? that
Wouldn't
it
you
will
want,
come?
wouldn't you want a bigger pond to hold the water to keep it from flooding your property?
Yes, I mean, we have no objection to that, and those are some of the things we wanted to, we would like to.
Because that's what we're proposing.
Well, the pond that they're proposing to build is bigger than that pond. And it's gonna be a dry pond, right?
Yeah, it's pumped. It's not standing water in that pond. It's.
So the capacity of that pond will be larger than that one because that one's full. So it will disperse the water over time slowly.
So what's
be able
happening to that pond? Nothing?
It's getting enlarged. It's gonna become the new pond.
And so when they bump drainage from there, right now, we have this problem once a year when it rains hard. What we understand is that they're gonna drain this pond continually, so I have a running creek through the year.
No, it's only when it rains. It can't produce water. It can only collect it and move it
So
out.
what happens? Does the water evaporate?
Some of it does, yes. Some of it keeps moving down where it goes today, which gives you more capacity in the future to hold more rainwater to hopefully lessen your flooding problem.
Okay.
But again, this is all a theoretical situation in the future that we don't know exists.
But your concern is making it worse, right? Is what you're saying. You're concerned with making the runoff, making it worse. But the engineers are saying they're trying to design the pond so it actually makes it less than what you have today.
Talking about.
Right.
It's right now, it is like a once a year or twice a year problem. But if every time it rains and it starts happening 10 times a year, that is worse. Because it, the proposal was to bring the water from the southernmost point of
Brandon, hold on just. And what they have to look at is that it would be less. So that one-time event that's almost catastrophic, in theory, shouldn't happen because it's controlled by this pond collecting the water.
Oh, I see.
I see.
So, thank you.
Does that make sense now?
Ability is they can make.
Yeah, Brandon, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, Jerry was showing me where
Okay.
to look at.
Other, you said you had multiple questions. I'll make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just one?
I think it was just one, sorry.
And if we may, could we explain a little bit more about, this is problem A. There's a problem B, which is much bigger than this, which is here. So this is the barn, this lot slopes here. You can see there's a tree and there's almost runoff. There's a runoff that goes like this. You can see this creek, like if you go further north, please.
Well, I've talked,
Yeah, this is the Byers Road. So.
Mr. Takare, I've talked with the county about that. I will talk with you after this meeting about that one. That one really has nothing to do with the subdivision. That's something I'm gonna help you try to fix, because I know that's a problem. I know how and when it was caused. So I will talk with you about that one after the meeting about getting rid of that berm. But what happened was in 2017, the property on the northwest corner of Cofelt Cemetery and Byers developed. It was open. They put a barn and house there. That water all discharged and goes underneath Byers. They put up a berm that dams the water and then it backfills back onto them. So that development put a seriously negative impact on their property. So that's
Can you help with that?
through the county, do what we can, but outside our limits, I can't enforce our code and things like that. But I start working with the county and I'll go with them on how to address that.
Thank you.
But I know that's not part of war, because that, I know, and that's what she explained to me too, is that because of them ponding it, they're 2 acres, they're 2 lots that are just south of that corner.
These two.
Yes, have standing water during the rain events, because it all discharges there and then it's dammed.
It becomes a huge, I mean, I have a. view.
There's a pond. You can see this is the outline of the pond. So what's happened for us effectively, these people are gonna potentially, okay, I'm saying potentially, because this is why I asked the question, who's liable? Because I'm not an expert at this.
This is really all a private property matter,
Yeah.
you and your neighbors.
Yeah, so, and the engineering firm who claims their stake. And so ultimately, we have to get an attorney to find out, is there insurance $1 million, $10 million? An unrelated case, the insurance requirement was $10,000 for construction. Well, for $10,000, it's just not worth getting an attorney. So,
Have you spoke to your neighbor to the north that made the berm?
yes and no. You know, again, we've never come to, we thought this board approved the berm, and so we said, you know what? And so we look at this, we're getting more water.
We didn't approve the berm.
Yeah, but you see our point is that we're stuck between somebody who's damming it on one end and somebody's potentially pouring more water.
I see your point. The item we're here on tonight is the subdivision. And from what they've shown us, they've done the requirements and are actually willing to go above and beyond to try to help you even more. And so thank you for that. I understand it's a problem. I understand it's probably a really nasty problem when it happens. Alan's proposed to help you try to get some contacts to the north with the county to help you with that situation. And short of that, I don't know what else we can do.
My other question was, we were started off, but then, but this point, what Alan showed me was the water from here will take this side. Yes, this is the other one. And
Out from the curve in.
L shape, here the water will drain on this side. So right now, there's a gentle slope all the way here. The water goes here and then again into our place. So why? Right now, only from here probably goes, but if the water from this street all over is going to come over, it would increase the water flow there also. So what happens, why there is no proposal for a small, like, I'm not saying dam it all, but prevent it from just flowing for a while and then overflow.
But I think that's what they're doing.
there's
Now
no
they're
water.
balancing they're picking the end of the property saying this is how much water gets there. They're balancing the two together.
Because,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, so all this, because what we said was, this water will go here, but from this corner to that, it is going to go to that corner. So which means it's not just the little bit of water from there. It is going to be drained from, all the water from this side is going to be pulled.
You can see there that has the grading plan that shows what's going to that corner.
Yep.
They're taking some of that that's on the south part of that to go to the enlarged pond. But the majority of that already goes to that northeast corner of that extension. It's going to continue to go there through the roadside ditches. And based on their analysis, that peak discharge is not changing.
So,
That's not gonna
does not
be changing.
get a chance to absorb anywhere else in the street.
They're taking
It will
some-
go all the way down there.
They're taking some of the water and routing it, instead of going to the corner, they're gonna route it to the pond.
They're taking some
So
of
they're
that.
taking some away.
Taking some of that runoff away.
Yeah, they're taking some away to make sure that nothing extra comes across those lots to the corner.
Yes, thank you. This has been an adventure, so. My understanding from what, after all, you have a governance role, you just can only say whether it meets the code or not. So, short of a lawsuit, there isn't really a way for us to know how or as part of freedom of information, can we get access to the design, the details, what was considered, how much rainfall was considered? Or is that only available through a discovery request?
It's your right to be able to do that. So.
Okay. Yes, so, what we would request in that case is we would like to hire an attorney and an engineering firm to make sure that all this is correct. We'll do it obviously at our cost, but this is what we run a farm, we're proud of it. And what I mentioned in the email, this is an existential threat for small farm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional comments or questions from any of the commissioners?
So, yeah, Alan was talking about having to go back and make some changes to the detention pond. So is this contingent upon that, or is this being considered as is?
I put it contingent upon, so they will at least review it, make changes as they will. The one is certainly the outlet there for the pond is on the opposite side. We'll at least change that, so it'll be contingent at least upon that, the revisions and any updates to that design or drainage.
You want to talk about the roads for a sec? So. Goodlet? It's on the master street plan. And they're bumping out the right of way. What, I mean, that there's offsite improvements required. Correct, per the code? I understand why it doesn't make sense to build them, but is that a fee in lieu that we're accepting?
Hard to accept it because it's in the county. We take that money and there's no guarantee we actually ever use it.
It's on our master street plan though.
And we've done things in the county with Herbal Road. We've made improvements, hard improvements before.
Partnered with the county before.
We just coordinate with the county on.
The only thing I'll say is precedent was set with Winbrook subdivision to the east 2 years ago. We only dedicated right away with that subdivision.
Well, and I'm sorry they missed the ball on that one, but I don't want to miss it twice, right? In the interest of the city.
They did pave in front of Winbrook.
Yeah, Winbrook, the developer ended up in paving it. He got permission to go ahead and pave it because it was all dirt.
There's nothing proposed here, right?
That's already paved. I'm not sure in the
Well,
Winbrook.
I don't think it makes it all the way to the corner, does it?
Not make it all the way to the corner.
It stops about.
Where that dark and light hatch meet?
Right there is where it stops.
I would just make that part of the contingency. That's how I feel. I mean, it's part of the code and I think it's right to ask for that when everybody else does.
You just pave from there to the intersection.
No, I'm saying a full half street improvement per the code, figure that out. If we don't want to build it, that's fine. We can do a fee in lieu. Something just to keep it consistent with all the other subdivisions that we do. Now, the one over here on the west that is not on the master street plan.
It's more difficult with the fee in lieu because we're holding money to do improvements.
Well, I would
But
love,
if we've done where they have paid.
yeah, I would love that if we can figure out, you know, you don't want to just pave half of it.
No, we usually
Right.
do 24-foot wide.
Right, if we can find a modified section to work, I think that's the best option.
Let's coordinate with the county that they don't.
Yeah.
Any issues with maintaining.
It'd help them out.
Yeah, I don't think the county would say no to paving that road.
Never know.
I wouldn't imagine they would.
And can we propose to extend just Goodlet, both lanes? From where it stops there to the other side of the intersection, since most of the traffic will be coming out to that road anyway, because the other one is dirt road right now. I know that sometimes some adjacent owners don't like the paved roads. I would like it, but some, it causes traffic to be faster. some of these folks that live out here, they've moved out here to for traffic to be not as fast, because people tend to not drive as fast on dirt road as they do.
Oh,
I
I
don't
live on a
know,
dirt road and the speed limit does not apply.
I don't know that we can say exactly. I just say, I would prefer to add it to the contingency on the approval. Figure out something that's agreeable and makes sense with staff. As part of that approval, but I'm okay adding that in and go ahead and vote on it.
It's obviously not my money, so I really can't make a
Understand?
decision. Yeah, I can definitely. put that too.
It's the code, you know, so.
any other questions or comments? It seems like we have two contingencies. If there are not, then I would entertain a motion for subdivision 2312, the Warren subdivision preliminary plat and plans at 8256 Warren Road.
This is Joey. I'll make a motion to approve subdivision 2312 Warren subdivision at 8256 Warren Road. Contingent upon taking another look at the proposed drainage and at a minimum shifting the outlet pipe to meet the natural current condition. And coming up with some sort of solution for the road improvements on Goodletch.
John will second.
Motion and a second. Is there anyone that's opposed?
Does that include the expansion of the pond that we discussed?
The whole drainage system. He said, yep, engineer approved the whole drainage system revamp. I'm glad Joy had all that mouthful. I was trying to write it down.
Thank you, Jason. Included in our packet under the business is some updates from the Public Works, the safety, and the Centerton Utilities. Do you want to go through them or just the fact they're there?
Yeah, you can read them all. You have a couple of things.
Thanks for providing those to us. Lorraine, what do you have?
Okay, I just wanted to let you know that I have set a meeting with the department heads, with staff. Start looking at the land use, and then I'll also have the master street plan. And so we'll be working on those, and then we'll be have a probably work session and lay them all out and on those. The other thing, I've gotten with Barber. We had our last meeting, we had discussed some changes. So they're gonna see where they are on those and get those to me. And then we've got on Title 15, the development regulations, and get that.
And landscaping?
Yes, it's landscaping. So we'll get that, and I know Joey wants a copy before. But we
do.
can get with Anthony and Alan. Probably some other staff. There's a few sections I. So. January, time to get going.
Mayor Bill?
Yes, thank you. I'll be an hour. One thing that we got coming up on the March ballot is we want to extend our 1 cent sales tax we have here at the city. You know, that we have bonds on several projects. Again, the key word is extend, no new tax. I wanted to invite all of you. I'm going to start having some public meetings, explain what we want to do. We want to build a community center. I've already been looking at the one in Bentonville. We're gonna look at some others. We'll build about a 50 to 60,000 square foot building with a lot of good amenities. But I have coffee with the mayor on Saturday at 9 a.m. and I'm gonna probably roll it out right there. You know, start informing the voters, and then I'll have some meetings in later in January and February, through the election. But I want to invite all of you. if you all want to come and, you know, I have a little small PowerPoint presentation with the information and love for you just to come by and you'll help us support it. Then we'll bring it back to you at some point if it gets approved, so. But I just wanted to extend the invitation.
When is that?
But Saturday, 9 a.m.
Saturday?
It's at the old city hall. Yeah. I'll have coffee, donuts, and hope for a good crowd, so.
What's the limit on donuts?
Sir,
What's the limit on how many donuts you can?
I'm not sitting there watching, I don't care. Actually, at the end of the, no,
I'll talk to Brian after this. He'll get me.
actually, at the end of the event, I usually send donuts home with people. I'll buy a little extra. This
Don't tell Joey that.
You can all donuts you want, I don't care. They run out, they run out. But anyway, I just wanted to, you know, extend the invitation.
Run out, there's a store across the street. There's a store.
Oh, dude.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Our next meeting is February 6th. If you can't be here, please let the team know. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion to adjourn in a second.